we starting?
We're hot.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome into Warped. Is this podcast necessary? I'm Aaron.
I'm Shawn.
I'm Matt.
I'm Jake.
I'm Minwin.
May.
Yay.
What are we watching today, Aaron?
We are watching season 3, episode 1.
Season 3, everybody.
I know, and it's great for a number of reasons. It's a Whoopi episode, and also Dr. Crusher's back. I was happy to see her again. Called
Yeah. The Dr. Pulaski will fade in your memory with time.
Very quickly.
Remind me though, does Dr. Pulaski, is there any kind of like wrap up that she's like goodbye?
Nope.
Did she die?
No,
Just
she's literally never heard from again.
Okay.
I don't think they even talk about why she left or where she went. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Okay. And we can talk about it whenever, but if you could also remind me why Dr. Crusher left in the first place, like as a human being, real style actress.
We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
I need a refresher. I was thinking about all this stuff today when I watched the episode. What?
Yes.
What?
Let's start the episode.
All right. I got 45 minutes and 47 seconds on the clock, and I'm punching the triangle. In 3, 2, 1, punch.
Yeah, here we go. Season 3.
She looks good this season. Look at her.
Now the effects have gotten a little better.
I know, fancy. I thought the same thing. I was like, colors, what?
This is the first season with the new improved uniforms, right?
Yes, yes. And
Oh,
these are actually
yeah.
these are actually transitional ones because they actually change again at the end of the season to the ones that become the norm for the rest of the year, for the rest of the seasons.
Look at sweet
read.
little Will.
Look how bad his acne is.
Oh, poor
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
These shows were not meant to be seen in HD.
kid. No.
Well, and the problem is, like, all that makeup they wear for the show probably wasn't helping.
No,
Yeah, and he
Get
was
into that
17
cycle.
in-
Wear
and he was
makeup to cover
17
it
in real
up.
life, so
Will Wheaton was in pancake makeup 90% of his teen years. Like, he's gonna have bad acne. But that first shot where they show real close, like, whoa,
That alien fake would
unfortunate.
adhere to that. That's
yeah, someone they should go in and clean that up. If you're
Yeah.
if you're gonna put the show out in HD, at least make everybody look good while you're doing it. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's
The
still
lighting didn't help either.
I would have
Asian
had a crush
alert.
on him.
Yeah. Go,
I
dude.
like this doctor in his like PhD clothes.
I love it.
Like-
I love the way he wears where he puts his hands in his pockets.
yeah,
It was
It's
That's
like if
his-
Judd Nelson was a doctor.
he's
Somebody
very
say-
casual. This guy, he's very just like
Yep.
do. I put my hands in my pockets.
the actor is Ken Jenkins. Is his name?
I recognize him.
Any Scrubs
he's
fans
been
out
a lot
there?
of stuff.
Yeah,
Or
he's
did he
like the
watch
boss on
Scrubs?
Scrubs, right?
Okay,
He
that's
was
what
the
I know him
doctor,
from.
like the
Scrubs.
old doctor
I
on
know him.
Scrubs. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you for that. I was like, what do I know him from? I thought maybe he was on Star Trek earlier or something. Like, he's got an intensity that works for sci-fi, that's for sure.
He was on Beverly Hills as a Pastor Neil. I don't know.
Beverly Hills 90210?
Yeah.
What? Pastor Neil?
Yep.
I don't remember.
That's
that.
got to be a cult. Pastor Neil has to be a cult. What are we talking about, Matt? Matt, we got to figure this out.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Does one of the 90210ers get touched inappropriately in one of the episodes?
In multiple episodes because it gives.
Wasn't one of them in a cult for a little while?
Probably,
Right?
somebody had to be deprogrammed at some point on that show.
Pastor.
Sounds like the kind of thing.
It was the kind of thing Tori Spelling Donna would have gotten into. Like,
Right?
He
yeah.
was in 3 episodes during season 10.
Oh well, that's why. Because I was
I'm
not.
sure
watching.
nobody was watching by then.
God, I can't believe that show. went on
I
for 10
probably
years.
was. I was still watching, you guys.
That was a pretty silly fall.
Yeah, he's
Oh no!
He's really going for it. Maybe a little too much. Pull it back a little.
Violent shaking in space, everybody. Employ your high-tech safety feature of
Yep.
holding on.
Yeah.
We don't need
Seatbelts.
seatbelts.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like how Pastor Neil gets rolled around. I'm gonna call him Pastor Neil for the rest of this.
So the opening, you see, it's different, a little different.
Oh, it's different. Nice.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Or galactic.
It's pretty cool. It's like Hubble.
The music is a little different too. We're not hearing it, but they changed the theme a little different to what is now pretty much known as the theme.
Okay, because
So we're watching season 3, episode 1, Evolution. Original air date September 23rd, 1989. Wesley's latest science project escapes the lab, threatening the Enterprise in an imminent scientist's lifelong project. Aaron, you watched the episode.
Yeah.
What do you think the IMDb rating of this episode is?
I'll say a 7.2.
May, did you watch the episode?
Yup.
What would you say the rating is?
Solid 7.
All right. Anybody else?
7.1.
Words. Same range.
$1 me?
7.3.
6.
6-6.
Hey.
It wins.
Yeah, of course he does.
I think it's underrated. I think it's
Right.
better.
It was good. It brings up questions about
Yeah.
It's a very Star Trek episode.
I would say so.
It's basically like the same plot as the one with the rock monster in original series. Sort of similar to that. It's about a new intelligent life form.
Yeah.
And in the end, Data has to talk to it, just like Spock talks to the rock monster.
Oh, I was thinking of a different rock monster. I was thinking of Abraham Lincoln. I was like, what is he talking about?
No, not that rock monster. What was that thing called?
It's called the Horta.
The Horta.
I was gonna say, are you talking about that like gelatinous one? Yeah.
No, we're talking about the one that was down on the planet. Spock had to mind meld with it. Pain.
No. In her defense, it does seem gelatinous because of the costume.
Thank you.
It's supposed to be rocky, but it does seem like kind of.
Well, they have to make it move, so
the goopy suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't look. Yeah, you're right. It looked more. Yeah, squishy. I guess is the word.
I do like their new outfits. Their uniforms are looking sharp.
Yeah, so they have 2-piece now.
Okay.
So now becomes
It's a
really
little
when
stiffer.
Picard starts when he sits down, he pulls down his shirt.
Yeah, they have more body, more like structure, rigidity.
Apparently, all of the actors were thrilled by the new.
I got to imagine.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
He had to be a nightmare.
They hated
take
the
those
jump.
things.
You have to like take your outfit off completely to go to the bathroom.
Yep. Like somebody needs to go to the bathroom, and then you're
Yeah.
cut for like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Well, and
I was wearing a onesie yesterday. I had the same problem.
Apparently, especially for the guys, like they really pinched when you tried to there was no give in them, so they really pinched when
They
you
gave
tried
you
to sit down.
Hamilton, yeah.
They were not comfortable.
There
Whoa.
she is.
There she is.
Wesley
I was
is
happy to see her
also
again.
looking-
Is that a wig?
Probably.
Yes, she
Most of the
always
time
wears.
it
She's
was a
always
wig.
wearing a wig.
Okay.
I've
Mom
never.
mom and son back together again.
Mm.
And
Did
he said,
people start liking Wesley yet? Like, didn't they not like him? Did they start liking him yet by 3rd season?
who?
Yeah, but, I mean, Picard likes him a little better now because he has
I
a
like
job on bridge,
The
you know.
audience.
Oh, you mean the audience?
The audience never liked him.
I'm not sure the audience ever
That's too
ever
bad.
liked
Damn.
Wesley very much. Like,
I know, it's harsh, right? I don't get it.
It's probably jealousy. They're like,
I mean, it was such a poorly written character was the problem.
Okay.
The people who were writing it had no idea what a teenager did.
right? He never acts like a teenager. He mostly
That's
acts
true.
like a 40-year-old man's idea
know.
of a teenager.
Yeah. If only they had been teenagers. Ah.
So
They-
their Gates came back.
Yay.
You want to tell why she left, Matt?
Oh, right.
I need a refresher on Crusher. I need a Crusher refresher.
a Crusher refresher. During the first season of the show, she had some like the conflicts with this one producer who was one of the bosses on the show.
Right.
And I don't know if it was like a sort of a Me Too sexual harassment type problem, or if it was more just of a personality conflict or whatever. But for whatever reason, they've decided to fire her rather than get rid of this producer. And so Patrick Stewart and the rest of the cast kind of launched a mutiny and went to the boss. I guess it wasn't Gene, or it might have still been Gene at this point, and said, look, we want Gates McFadden to come back. But they had already, they had hired what's her face, Diana Muldaur, to play Dr. Pulaski. Yeah. So they weren't able to bring her back. But at the end of season 2, they brought Gates McFadden back and fired the producer that she was having this conflict with, that apparently nobody liked,
Okay. But it had
IMDb trivia for this episode. It says Gates McFadden returns as Dr. Beverly Crusher. McFadden left the show after the first season, reportedly due to creative differences with showrunners.
Okay.
So that's the whitewashed version of that story.
Yeah.
Whatever.
William Shatner actually made a documentary a couple of years ago about the making of Star Trek, and it called about the making of Next Generation, called Chaos on the Bridge, and it went into all of that in some detail for people who really want to know more.
Okay.
There's a pretty good documentary about the making of Star Trek out there.
Cool.
They also,
and of course, because it was directed by William Shatner, it's 90% about William Shatner, even though he wasn't on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That's great. Doesn't disappoint.
Did they make the walls of the room
come back?
So I didn't watch this. So what's happened? Beverly's back. What's she worried about? She's worried that
she's just not sure how Wesley's going to deal with her being on the ship now, because
she's just trying
to want your mom on the ship. You're working as an ensign, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. She's asking Jean-Luc now, like, what? It's been a year since I've seen him. What is he? How is he as a person? What, is he?
Yeah.
Good person, that kind of thing.
And Jean-Luc is probably like, I have no idea.
Exactly. He actually has a funny look on his face. It looks like he's sniffing poop. Like, why are you asking about his personality? Like, but then he does that. He does give a good answer after that. But so when May asks, like, what if like people think at first when you're saying that on the ship, it was like, I don't know. I still can't figure out what Picard thinks of Wesley.
Yeah, Jean-Luc's sitting there thinking, I barely talk to him, so why are you asking me what he's like?
It's also like reminding he is like a worker or, like a trainee or whatever, but he's also, growing up. There's sort of like moments of check-in about that. He's having an unusual childhood.
Yeah, which you didn't get at all in the earlier season because there was nobody in that sort of parental job role, so.
I think Pulaski asked a couple questions about it at some point. Wasn't there some, like, when he was trying to be a leader on something and she was like.
Yeah, but he would always end up going to Guinan for the real mother.
Yeah, and there's some of that to this time. That's. Anyway.
But I like that they're addressing it. They're not just pretending like, oh, she's back. Like they actually built it into the plot that she's back, and that and now
it's
been some time, and everybody's dynamics are going to be a little different now because she's back.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever say where Pulaski went, do they?
Not in this episode.
They're like,
they talk about it. It's not here.
In the larger universe of like the novels and the comic books and stuff, there are stories that are sort of about like the further adventures of Dr. Pulaski, but in the actual world of the show, we will never see her again. I mean, she's still alive. I guess she could technically come back. She could be in Star Trek Picard next season or something like that. So it's possible we haven't seen the end of Dr. Pulaski, but so far,
my impression of Dr.
in the last
Pulaski
35 years or so, we have not seen Dr.
Yeah. She can still make that comeback. I actually, my impression of Dr. Pulaski improved since watching it again. So I really liked her as a character. She's sort of a strong woman just trying to get the job done.
Team Pulaski.
Yeah, I enjoyed the brief run. I feel like a lot of it is like more like we missed Crusher than like anything necessarily like anti-Pulaski, at least.
I don't think that's true. I think
I know you don't think that's true, but I think in general there's maybe more heat of missing the other than like her being such a faulty character. But
no, I mean as a like I think that what people didn't like about her at the time was how mean she was to Data. Like that was sure. I think she came off wrong. She sort of rubbed people the wrong way right from the very beginning, because in her very first episode is the episode where she's meanest to Data. And I think what they were trying to do was sort of an arc where she learns over the course of the season to appreciate Data and respect Data. And I just think that she came off so badly in those early episodes that people never forgave her. Like the fandom were just like, this woman is being mean to Data. We don't like her. So I'm not so sure. I'm sure there was some aspect of people missing Dr. Crusher, but I think a lot of it was, who is this woman and why is she being so mean to our sweet boy Data? You know, I think that was the main knock against her at the time.
Got it.
I agree with you that she gets better over the course of the season, and it's clear that they were trying to do something with her. I just don't think it quite worked the way that they wanted it.
Envisioned. Yeah.
I don't think it's her fault. I just think it wasn't. They just didn't execute it as well.
Well, what I've noticed on the show is it needs more than one season to like percolate or whatever, to marinate.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's.
It took me a while to warm up to Picard, even Data.
To Picard.
Still figuring out
Pulaski. It did take you a while to warm up to Picard. It's funny. You were sort of on the Data train right from the beginning. I just listened. I have Corrections Corner at some point if we want to do that. So I was just listening to Encounter at Farpoint, which is the very first episode. And you were on the Data train pretty early on. You were like, I like that robot man. You weren't quite on Picard yet, but but now after a couple of seasons, you kind of get Picard's deal, right? And now you're like, Picard, he's great. Like,
I guess I also got what they were trying to do with Pulaski, like ask questions, because he is like his own category. So like, as a scientist, how do you like?
Yeah. I think if she had been on the show from the very beginning and there had never been a Dr. Crusher.
Yeah. But there is something immediately.
All of that would have gone away.
Crusher's face. I was just like, oh yeah.
Well, and also if they had done that with her, with Data from the beginning of the show, I think people would have been on board, because people also wouldn't have had a strong opinion of Data. It's just that everyone fell in love. You know, Data was the hit star of the first season.
I mean, he does knock it out of the park, just the way he acts and stuff.
You know, it's just like you think about it, if in the beginning of the second season of the original series, they brought on a character who was new and it was immediately mean to Spock.
Yeah, right.
I'd be like, who's this bitch?
Who the fuck is this guy? Who does he think he is? You know?
But Bones was mean to Spock right from the beginning.
Right. So you just were like, oh, well, that's just their relationship, right?
Oh, we're in 10 forward.
Crawling around 10 forward, like we do.
Wesley skulking about 10 forward.
He putting down like rat traps.
Setting out nanite traps. There she is.
Lady.
You know what?
She talks about how she has hundreds of children, apparently.
I know. I was like, wow, okay.
Well, she just used the word husbands, plural.
Yes. I know. I got excited about that too. I was like, yeah.
We've talked before about how they intentionally leave a lot of Guinan's backstory unexplored because they wanted to keep her sort of mysterious. So you never really know what her deal is. But it's funny that she's always in 10 forward. Like, you never see her where she where she lives on the ship, where her quarters are. It feels like she just lives in 10 Forward.
She's got a room out back.
Or maybe she just it also kind of feels like maybe she just dissolves into sparkles whenever nobody else is there.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't have
like 400 years old. Maybe she doesn't really need to rest that much, maybe she's just
like how old people only sleep like 3 hours a night.
Yeah, she's got her own thing going on.
5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
I hope I never get to that place in my life. I like sleeping when I sleep. I don't want to just sleep for 5 minutes.
I think what becomes cool about if you're retired and you don't have a schedule, so to speak, you have now, it's you don't trip about having a bad night's sleep because you'll just catch up with it another time.
And you can nap.
Exactly.
Got anything to do.
You just you kind of just have a different rhythm to your day. But
it's like me these days.
Yeah.
I'll just be sitting in a chair and I just fall asleep, and all of a sudden everyone, Shawn, you're snoring. Kids go, Dad, you're snoring.
So the problem is that Wesley has created these little nanites, and they've escaped, and they're all over the ship,
and they're sentient.
And they never existed until Wesley started poking around.
Well, he created them to be sentient.
Yeah. Oh, Wesley, did you create life again?
Yeah. See.
Yeah, she's
weird. I like that Guinan says, "Are you going to get a good grade?" And Wesley goes, "I always get an A." I roll.
She talks about Dr. Frankenstein, but she refers to him as her friend. So I don't know if she's speaking literally, or is she making a figurative joke? Or because she's been around for a while, Maybe there was a Dr. Frankenstein. Who knows?
Right.
I'm watching Once with the Family. Anybody watched Once?
The movie?
No.
Is that
NBC?
The Disney was what if?
What the fuck?
Fairy tale. Yeah, that's the full.
I think there's a different.
Yeah,
and I just find it odd that Frankenstein's a character in that. Where does that have to do with fairy tales?
I don't remember that.
That must be early seasons.
Yeah, it's David Anders plays him.
Sort of a dark fairy tale, right?
Yes.
Got that dark-haired actress who was on Big Love, right?
Yes.
Wives, the youngest.
Yeah. It's
Jennifer something.
Yeah, Jennifer Goodwin.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, Jennifer Goodwin. She's Snow White.
It's got Robert Carlyle, who was a movie star for a while.
Yeah.
So these little bits of Wesley's have caused wreaking havoc on the ship. Is that what's happening?
That's what's happening.
Okay. 2 of them got loose, and then they started
breeding.
Well, sure.
You're sentient.
I mean,
what's there left to do?
You're gonna bone if you know what it is.
There's 2 of us.
That guy has a lot of layers on.
He's got a baggy corduroy, you guys.
And notice, look at his vest. Look how his vest is
unbuttoned.
It's not buttoned on the right button. Is that the style of the future, to have your buttons be one button off?
I think the whole point of this guy is he doesn't have time for what clothes he wears.
Yeah.
He's so super focused on his sciencey stuff.
Yeah.
He can't be bothered to button his things buttoned correctly.
The whole thing is there's a certain phenomenon that's occurring with these stars that will only happen every 100-some years. So if he doesn't get his experiment done today, he won't be able to do it. And he's been working on this for his entire life.
He's only got one shot.
Wesley has not put it together that he's responsible for this.
Yes. Oh no, that's why he was setting those traps. He's trying to capture. Yeah,
that's why he's crawling around.
He's figured it out.
He just hasn't admitted it yet.
Yeah, he like doesn't. He's like, I'll let people know if that's really what's going on. Like he's trying to like, squeeze the lemon as long as
Right. He's hoping to maybe squeak by without having to.
And that's like a 17-year-old. I'll have to give
totally.
That is a very 17-year-old solution. Like, I'll fix this and no one will ever need to know it ever happened.
Right? It's funny because recently Matt sent around a song that's like all about trying to fall asleep and then you think about all the things you did wrong. And I still think about all the shit, like little shit that I did in high school. Like that's the thing except it's not when I fall asleep, it's when I wake up. Like suddenly I'm like, oh shit, I did that thing. Like when I was 17, like I'm still working through that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I didn't know anyone else did that. I thought it was only my problem, but apparently it's a human thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that song and I was like, that is uncomfortable.
Hitting a little close to home.
Yeah.
I feel like they've gone super heavy on the makeup with some of the actors on the show. Maybe they're just getting used to the new cameras and whatever.
Well, they're covering up his acne, so that's happening. But yeah, that's a vicious cycle. Crusher always had a lot of makeup on.
Yeah, and again, it's like the HD does not do people any favors.
Right.
Yeah.
This show was not filmed. I mean, that's why they had so much makeup.
It was never meant to be seen in this level of clarity. So,
the higher the definition, the more you see the makeup.
Yeah.
And so it's like they don't put as much makeup on people nowadays on shows because it shows up too much. Back then you had to do it or else they would just be whitewashed. You had to give them a lot of makeup or else there'd be no color in their face.
Right. It's a lot more like theater.
Yeah. And in a few years back, when they put out the Blu-rays of this show, they upgraded the whole show. They redid all the special effects and put the whole thing into super high def and all that stuff, 4K. So it's like it was never meant to be seen this way. Because when you were watching it in 1989, I guarantee you were just like, oh, those just look like normal people on television.
Yeah.
Yeah, your 19-inch screen, it's like you couldn't tell that shit.
Right.
It's funny to think of like watching this and then just flashing in my mind like like a screen from the old original series, like bringing up the triangle table or whatever. Just the difference is pretty funny. They've come a long way.
I mean, there wasn't a triangle table, but I know
they don't have their 5-sided triangle table.
Yeah.
Talking about shapes.
They do still have an oddly shaped table. Like, why would you make a table that shape?
Yeah, maybe.
What's shape? It's not a weird shape,
sort of
is it?
Doesn't it? It's like curved and has flat sides.
Well, I think it's curved because the room they're in is curved, right?
Yeah.
They're in that room that goes along the edge of the ship. So I think that's why the conference room table is.
The nanites are playing the light cycle game from Tron.
Yeah, this is something that they did not fix when they redid all the special effects a few years ago.
They're like,
they left this as is.
Why? Yeah, I mean, everything does look good though. Like
eventually Wesley starts wearing a regular uniform. That must happen pretty soon. He stops wearing the gray jumpsuit.
Okay.
Wearing a normal.
A lot in this episode. It's still pretty tight.
I don't know if he got a new episode. His looks like it's the same.
His looks the same, but eventually
I think his was always 2-piece.
Okay. Well, he's crawling around a lot in this episode and leaning on stuff.
So Dr. Man wants to kill them, and everyone else is saying they might be alive.
Yeah, they're like, well, if it's alive,
they have rights.
We have rights,
They had this whole argument with Data.
Yep.
Oh, look, they're giving Beverly a lot to do in this episode because it's her like welcome back episode.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like arguing with the main character and stuff. Like, let's give Beverly a scene where she talks about the moral implications.
Yep, let's pop her collar when we do it.
Yeah. Let's put her in a wig. I swear to God, I don't think you will ever see Dr. Crusher in the same hair twice. Because it feels like they're constantly. It feels like every week they're fussing around with her wig. It feels like a different wig every single time.
Love it.
And she has red hair in real life, but she's talked about in interviews and stuff that it was not her real hair that she was wearing.
She seems like a natural redhead. Like it works.
I wonder why they chose.
Well, her name is Gates McFadden. I think she's probably got some. I think she's got some Irish or Scottish.
So now we know why. It's the Irish part. That's why they fired her.
Oh, right. They do it. We forgot about the hatred of Irish people.
We just did that. We just released the episode where they
look at the back of Wesley's outfit. It's got a weird thing where it tucks in. It tucks in.
A lot of butt stuff.
It feels like horrible. It feels like you could give Wesley a really hard wedgie.
It's all the time. Like
you suppose
there's
Wesley
a scene where he hangs out with people. There's actually a scene in this. You don't actually get to hear any of them talk, but there's a scene at the end of this episode where you actually see him hanging out with people his age.
Really? I was just. We never see him hanging out. We never
Here
see
comes
him hanging
Picard's
out with
O-face scene.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That was what it was frozen on. I was like, what's going on?
Because we never see Wesley.
Just to choke him.
Because what, man?
Because we never see Wesley with kids his own age, right? He's always hanging around with the crew.
Yeah. He's always doing
partly because he's works there now, so he's always on the bridge. But it always felt like Wesley never had any friends his own age, and maybe that's just because he's too kids his own age just hate him for being too smart. Like I'm just wondering if he's bullied by the other kids on the ship.
You know it.
He tries to hang out with the other kids because there are other kids on the ship. We hardly ever see them, but they're there.
Yeah.
But you never see them with Wesley. They probably think he's an asshole.
Like he's too driven and too.
The way that nerds have.
I think it's one of those things where they kiss his ass in front of him because they know he's got juice, but then talk a lot of shit behind his back.
Yeah, they don't like him in real life. Yeah. They pretend to be nice because his mom's the doctor.
Right.
And his stepdad is the captain.
Stepdad.
Nice.
Picard is basically his stepdad.
Yes, that's true.
That's the role he fills in this.
You're not my father.
Right.
You come back here.
Wow, they're really having
he's classic stepdad, even when you think about it, because he's sort of distant and isn't really interested in Wesley.
Sure what his position is as far as raising. How much involvement should I have?
And also just kind of doesn't care that much, on some level.
Damn, bringing the thunder down on step parents there.
I mean, I don't know. I have no experience with step parents, but I mean in the classical storytelling sense of story.
Am I the only one from a broken family?
I know there are people with step parents who have step parents they love. I'm not saying anything bad about step parents.
I think I'm the only one in here that their parents aren't married still.
I know my parents have been married for 100 years.
Mine just had their 50th anniversary in
I think mine are 60 years. What's 1960? Yeah, that's 60 years.
Yeah, because mine were 1970.
My parents just celebrated their 40th anniversary of being divorced.
Nice.
Oh,
wow.
Well,
was there a party?
Happier.
Yeah, it was a real celebration.
We don't have divorce parties.
Yeah.
I'm still doing research on Pastor Neil, you guys.
What sort of research? Are you still
Al, but I can't
Pastor?
remember.
And now Deanna's getting her shot to be like, hey now, buddy, you're not behaving right. I love Deanna so much. She's another one who didn't get the respect she deserved when the show was on in the old days. Later. Like, people used to make fun of her for being all she ever did was sit. The joke about her was that all she ever did was sit on the bridge and say, "I'm worried, Captain. I'm concerned."
Yeah. They're not to be trusted.
I feel like they're deceiving you,
they're
Captain.
hiding something.
But the reality is, she gets a lot more to do than that, and even in this scene right here, she's calling him out. She's like, I'm a professional psychiatrist, and I tell you're all messed up.
About this. This was actually pretty interesting when I was watching it. Like,
she's like, you've gotten so much wrapped up in this stuff.
Yeah.
What's going to happen if it doesn't plan out for you?
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. She's
why
a very
is there a fish tank in this guy's room?
Yeah, he would never take care of fish.
Is there like a fish tank in every visitor's room, or
no?
Just this
he's got to be in the VIP lounge, right?
And who's doing all the siphoning? That's a lot of work. All the maintenance.
He's a famous person though, so they gave him like the best room on the ship.
Sure.
That's true.
He's in the presidential suite.
Right. He's in the Lincoln bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. The show will not always live up to giving Deanna and Crusher good stuff to do, but when they do, like in that scene and in the earlier scene with Beverly, when they do give them good stuff to do, they really nail it. Like
they rise to the occasion. Yeah.
They really do. There's one of my all-time favorite episodes of this show.
Socks?
Yeah, check out those. Those are some.
He's got terrible socks. They look
wool socks.
Yeah.
Nice
There's
geodes.
Geodes in the background.
Yeah, check out his geodes.
Yeah.
So he's
maybe that is his fish tank. Maybe he brought that with him.
it with him.
No, he would never take care of fish.
It does seem like a weird thing to have.
The nanites are mad.
Yeah, because he killed a bunch of them.
Yeah. Do you like how he just like sprayed Lysol on a bunch of them?
Yep. And he pissed off their relatives.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this is like when you kill an ant and all the other ants like come at you.
I try to avoid that.
It's like a beehive.
Yeah, avoid the beehives. And ants, though, you can just kill indiscriminately.
It's like the Borg. You kill a Borg, and all the Borgs come at you.
Yeah.
I like the fake Borg. Like I was like, oh shit, the Borg's back.
There was a Borg fake out at the beginning of the episode.
There was?
Yeah, the nanites made it seem like there was a Borg attacking them.
It was just the computer system like fritzing out.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, but it was like, ooh, oh no.
They're like, run away, the Borg are here. Like, wait, we can't see him.
I like that they're just reminding you of the Borg, like right at the top of the season.
Sure.
Yeah, it was good. It worked for me. I was like, oh yeah, the Borg. Yikes.
The Borg is like the big threat of this show. So
it's bad.
Even in episodes that aren't Borg episodes, they like to refer to them every once in a while just to remind you that
they're
coming.
They're out there and they're coming sooner or later.
Well, now they're talking to him.
Aaron, one of these days we're going to watch an episode that's almost entirely Beverly focused.
Oh.
And it's one of my all-time favorite episodes. It's like a mystery episode. People start disappearing on the ship. It's the plot of The Lady Vanishes.
Oh.
You've seen that movie where the woman's on the train and no one remembers her ever being there. So the plot of it is people start vanishing on the ship, and Beverly's the only person who remembers that they ever existed. So she's going around saying, where's Mr. Worf? And Picard's like, Mr. Worf? Who's that?
Oh, no.
And so Beverly has to like figure out the mystery of where everyone's going. It's a really good episode.
Ooh, is that this season or?
No, we have a little while to wait for that. But I was just making the point that when they give Beverly stuff to do, she's very good at it.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, they don't give Deanna as good episodes when she gets her episodes.
Deanna gets a lot of bad love story plots.
Yeah, and or stories with her mom.
Yeah,
where
her
mom just totally overshadows her because that.
Well, her mom's horny.
Huge.
They get horny at that age.
That's true.
Oh, do
it's
they?
something to look forward to with her.
Oh yeah, guys.
Is that gonna play out later? Is she gonna have her hornball days? Is that happen?
We haven't seen Deanna's hornball days. We're gonna see more of.
Forgotten about that.
We're gonna see more of the mom for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She'll come. I think she comes back at least once a season.
Yeah.
I just figure if she's on the Picard show now, like that's good timing. Like that's
she's settled.
They didn't bring it up for her and Riker.
Do you want to know what the? Oh yeah. Well, Shawn just said it.
Oh, because she's married.
I think we've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've talked about it.
She gets married in the Picard show. She's married. Her and Riker.
She's taking it out on Riker. Is that what's happening?
That's right. That's right. She takes Riker into the back room, and
that's why when you see a Riker, he's like all gray, and his hair is really long because he's just getting the.
That's why in that episode he's so happy. He's so happy. All he's doing is living on that planet and making pizza and getting ridden by Deanna.
Just getting rocked.
Wow. So specific.
Riding him hard and leaving him wet.
Yeah.
So he can make that pizza.
They have a very happy marriage, Aaron, is what I'm trying to
They've got a kid.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good.
They're living the good life.
I mean, it would be cool to have that house and that pizza oven.
Oh, yeah. It looked like a perfect
I watched that episode, and I mostly was jealous of the house they lived in.
Yeah.
You ever watch something and you get distracted by like the decor?
Oh,
and you're
definitely.
Like, oh, I wish I had that kitchen. Like,
I think especially American.
I would love to have an island.
Yeah.
I
know.
That would be amazing.
I kind of like how British shows don't try that hard though. Like they have clutter in like a regular place. I kind of find that refreshing because sometimes the sets on American shows are too aspirational. I'm like, oh
yeah. You're like, no one would ever.
No clutter. Everyone,
I cannot take this much Droxine, guys.
Friends was the great example of that, where it was like, how do they live in that giant loft?
Well, they finally made their home. They had to come up with a reason eventually. They're like, oh, it's her grandmother's. Or
like Monica inherited it from the
no, she like acts like it's still hers, like that she's renting from her grandma, something like that. It was some nonsense about rent control that they made up.
I watched The Connors, which is the Roseanne.
Oh, yeah. How is that?
It's good. It's really good. I like it.
I want to see it. I actually really like to watch reruns of Roseanne. It reminded me that it's a good show. Like,
did you watch the season with Roseanne?
Yeah, I did.
Is it better than that season, or?
Yes, it is.
She was.
I mean, think about who's in the cast.
Sure, of course.
I mean, it's a cast of, if you got John Goodman and Laurie Metcalf,
exactly. Like you already are.
It's going to be good.
I love Jackie. She's great.
Yeah, she's the best.
Okay.
But what made me think of that is that they live in a very realistic looking house.
Sure.
Yeah,
they don't live.
Although it could be more cluttered given the circumstances. Like it's still pretty tidy. I've actually given this some thought. I'm like, damn it, even the Connors house is cleaner than mine.
Okay.
Oh, you're just jealous. That's not.
Using,
I mean,
you're using yours as the baseline.
But the kitchen's pretty clean, and they have like enough shelf space to put their stuff in. So
not to besmirch anybody, but I've lived with your husband. I know he cannot throw shit away. So
what's that?
I've lived with your husband.
Yeah.
I know how he's like. There's always going to be clutter if you're living with Philippe.
It's okay.
Or with any porter.
Well, okay. That's true. I lived with both of them, so. I live with Jake a lot longer than I live with Philippe.
It's true.
Okay, well then I guess what I meant is that it's more like appropriate.
It is. The furniture is like
100% agreed.
Yeah, but they have a giant bathroom because they have whole scenes in that bathroom. I'm like, I would kill to have that large of a bathroom. And they have an entire laundry room.
I think the laundry room is like is outside on the back porch, right?
I know,
That's where the laundry.
I just have a closet, so I'm still.
It's like
I don't have anywhere to put my soaps.
Okay, wait, stop. What's Beverly eating?
Yeah.
I know.
Candies.
Starburst.
Is she just?
It does not pair well with alcohol, whatever it is.
Flavored polygons.
Flavored polygons.
Yeah. Whenever they have food on the show, it grosses me out.
It looks like saltwater taffy.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
That's been cut up into like triangles.
Yeah, they look like gummy with like sugar crystals on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the
Sour Patch pyramids.
Yeah, gummy drops, exactly.
Maybe she's addicted to sugar. We know that Troy is addicted to chocolate.
Loves the chocolate, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because she looks like she's eating
there
candy.
It is.
Whoa.
Wesley's got his hand on a lady's hip.
So she's, just trying to see, like, what's going on. Okay, he's got a social life.
So one of the kids that's there, that I think it's the red curly-haired in the back.
I'm sorry, but look at what they're wearing.
I know, right?
They're like Oompa Loompa land.
I know.
One of them is who, Shawn?
Scott Grimes, who's on the Orville.
Oh, okay.
And is married to Adrian Padalecki in real life.
Oh, okay.
None of that means anything to me, but it sounds cool.
The only thing I recognized in that sentence was I know that you like that Adrian Padalecki.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true.
Wait, was the solution for that episode they shot the nanites into the stellar?
No, they just talked to the nanites and were like,
they just reasoned with them.
Will you stop fucking with us?
It was a classic Star Trek episode because it was all about communication. And Data figured out that the nanites were not just randomly destructive, that they were actually alive, and that the reasons that they were doing the things that they were doing was to protect themselves. So once they figured that all out, Data figured out how to talk to them, and he convinced them to return control of the ship. And then he put them on a planet somewhere?
Put them on a planet, yes. That's
so that they can grow and develop on their own.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Everybody.
It's a very Star Trek-y ending. Yep. It was all about diplomacy.
And the guy got to do his experiment, and all was well with the universe.
Okay. I thought when they talked about relocation,
he put his hand on a girl, which weirdly made Dr. Crusher happy.
Yes, he's like, yes. He's not a.
Well, that makes.
She's like my
little bit. I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit homophobic because she said that's what a teenage boy should do, as if she didn't even consider the fact that he might be gay.
Yeah, he should have had his hand on a boy. That would have been progressive for 1989.
I mean, he was the sharpest dressed one there, so.
It's gray. It's a uniform. I don't know. A little splash of color.
Did you see those splashes of color? Would you wear that, Shawn, if you were a teenager?
In 1989, I certainly did wear bright colors in 1989.
Okay, I take it all back then.
Yeah.
We want to talk about things you wore in 1989, Min?
Sure.
I've seen some of the things you wore. Would you like me to find some pictures?
Fine. Yes. Dig them up.
I've seen that green shirt you used to wear, Matt. I know how you are with the bright colors.
I was, I'm not knocking it.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
I'm just saying, you guys were talking shit about the bright colors.
I was.
He looked more mature and dignified than the others. The others look more baby style with their primary colors. Just saying.
Yeah, they looked like they were 5 years younger than him.
He's got it.
With the romper room set.
Yeah.
Like the only people on the ship who think Wesley are cool are the 12-year-olds.
Right. That's exactly. The really smart 10-year-old.
He's 17, but all the 12-year-olds love him.
Yeah.
He's the coolest.
He's a rock star to the 6th grade set. He's the JoJo Siwa of
Hell yeah.
Love that joke.
Nice.
Speaking of bright primary colors. Hey, it's over.
It is. We did it.
We made it.
Yeah, guys.
Season 3. We're down one episode. 25 more to go.
I like that one.
Me too.
I like that one.
That's a good one. The next one's an even better episode, I think.
What?
And it's a data episode.
Yeah, I think it's better too. I thought this one was good. I think the next one's even better.
Yeah.
Here's what I liked about this episode. I liked that Crusher had a lot to do.
Yep.
I liked that Deanna had a really good scene where she got to call that guy out.
Why?
I thought both of those were really good. It was fun to see Crusher back again. Guinan's in there, you know.
Yeah.
That's all I want in a Star Trek episode, really.
Guinan, that's it.
No, just like give me some good character stuff. Give me a good story.
Yeah, classic Star Trek story.
Give me a classic Star Trek story. Give me some Guinan if she's around and Whoopi isn't busy, and that's it. That's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was great to see the upgrade in the production quality. You know, just seeing like the cool lighting.
Their budget must have gone up for this season over the first two seasons. If they're going third season, they're thinking it's going to be on for a while at that point, I would think.
Well, if they can pee now, they don't have to dry clean as much.
That's true.
Savings galore.
The scrubbing pee out of Jonathan Frakes' uniform budget went way down this season, so they were able to spend more on special effects.
Yeah. He looks less scruffy. Good.
Yeah, we didn't get. That was the only thing. Not a lot of Riker in this episode.
Yeah, that's all right.
It was there.
Yeah, no Worf at all.
And zero Worf.
Barely any Worf. You're right about that.
You know, you can't all have big moments in every episode. So,
well, it's a big cast to have to service. You know, every week you have to figure out something for all of these people to be doing. So, somebody's always going to be the short end of the script.
Yep.
Worf will get plenty to do. Don't worry about Worf.
Oh, yes. Worf stuff is coming.
I try not to.
It is glorious.
It is. He does have a pretty great storyline. Aaron.
Yeah.
We're done.
Okay. Cool.
Would you like to tell people how they can support the show?
I don't think she would.
Oh, okay. I'll do it then. Thank you all very much for listening to Warped. Please go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts to rate, review, and subscribe. You can email us at warpedthepodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at warpedthepodcast and find our merchandise on Instagram at lunar_flare. You can follow us on Twitter at warpedtrek. You can follow me at hostwarped. You can follow Min and learn about our Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu podcasts and live streams at Wet Maynard. And most important of all, you can go to patreon.com/warped, become a subscriber, and get access to additional material and bonus episodes. Aaron, back to you.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
What's your name?
I'm Aaron.
I'm Shawn.
I'm Matt.
I'm Jake.
I'm in Win.
Not me.
Yeah. We'll be back next time.